Good morning everybody and welcome back to another video here on the channel where today I've been hard at work. I've been busy and no, it's not on LEGO Zelda stuff. It has been a summer full of LEGO and I have been really enjoying all of the random, small, maybe not video worthy things that I've been up to. But the content brain never stops, so today we are going to go through everything that I've done this summer from the small to the large and talk about every single project and showcase a couple of the more niche nerdy things that I don't often get to talk about. So I hope you're here for the ride and you may even get some sneak peeks at some upcoming projects. So I'm not going to waste any time, let's jump straight in. And June started with a haul, more specifically the Balrog and the vending machine, alongside of course my spiny shelf from LEGO Insiders I picked up. But before I could build them I had to head off to Oxford for a convention where I stacked some sheep on top of someone else's build, bought a couple of things and had a wonderful time displaying Lulda. I picked up the Children's Day teddy bear promo and was able to build that. I put Sauron in his mind there, and then I got home to building our vending machine, which you can see me cranking away here and opening up, because the first thing I did was enact a childhood dream of having my own custom CMF series and being able to have something that dispenses minifigures that I can then build. Now back in the day I tried to build this out of parts and the goal was that it would dispense a random assortment of parts so that you would get a mixed up minifigure, and I have plenty more plans of how we can use this vending machine as a random figure generator. But to start with, we just made a custom CMF which you're seeing me unwrap right now. So all 16 balls are filled with various different characters. We've got the Princess Zelda here with her frog and her silent princess, and then you're going to watch me speed through opening up the other 16 and then I'll rattle off their names. But this was fun. I just sat down for 10 minutes, put the figures in there, and then actually rolled them out. It did take 10 minutes to open up all 16 of these, but I had the time, truly refilling childhood dreams. So we've got Zelda and Link from Breath of the Wild. We have the Bard from the D&D series, the Caesar Romero Joko, the plant figure, the Ice Planet Trooper, the Fireman Mickey, the Brick Suit Boy Oswald, as well as the Gingerbread Man, Johnny Thunder, the Reindeer Suit Girl, the Lizard Suit Man, the Anubis Guard, Sauron, and a Power Miner. Quite a few figures fitted in there. But that set also then came with some important figures as well, especially for my Every Spaceman is Awesome display. We have, of course, adding in all the colours, but specifically from this summer, we have the dark blue torso with the wrong helmet, and then, of course, both Space Babies, but also the teal, which was one of the two exclusive colours that came in the vending machine. Don't worry, I have plans for the Kraken Knights in particular as well. But I'm updating my display here. I'm adding on the 2 extra columns. I'm very excited about the light blue torso and the upcoming rumoured bright green one. But, of course, we have teal and gold as the new additions from here, and I know I'm missing grey. I do actually have the torso for grey, but it will be coming soon, and I'm really happy with how this Spaceman's going. Too many this year, far too many, but doesn't it just look fantastic? All of those colours all perfectly lined up. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I wanted to showcase my favourite LEGO Zelda alternate build from Rebrickable. Now, an alternate build is a set that is made in purely out of another LEGO set, so bear in mind that this one is a little rough around the edges, and this one is created by Rebrickable user Bloody Pun, who has transformed the Creator 3-in-1 Crocodile into a green Lizalfos here. And we saw Orophelia's Bokoblin, which I've not yet managed to replicate in real life yet. However, this is another user that has done this fantastic green Lizalfos, and I really love how this one's turned out, because we've got all of the shaping here, especially considering the limitation of parts, and I quite like having this one built as part of my LEGO Zelda collection. So thank you to the user for creating this design. However, this is just an unsponsored look because I keep track on all of the Rebrickable Zelda builds that get added. Of course, we have the Lizalfos tail here, and there are a couple of structural weaknesses for sure, as well as stuff like this yellow brick up here, and this can sort of pose and sort of wrap up on itself as well, just like we would expect from the Lizalfos in game. We've got legs with the claws, and he can jump and do his Lizalfos moves at you. We've got arms here, which are actually designed to hold weapons, but I've cut those off from the version because I just think they look a little bit messy, so apologies for that, but that is why this one has a ball joint sticking out of his hand. It's supposed to hold a sword and shield. You can find these instructions for free if you have this set over on his Rebrickable page, which will be linked in the description. And we've got the eyes here, which I think look great and have an amazing job at replicating the lizard texture because of the pip with the hole in the center, although you could argue that these should maybe be flat on. However, I think this adds some much needed depth and they're in the right position. We have the little horn coming up as well, and the nostrils and so on, or like the mouth portion here. No jaw, but the head can do the Lizalfos tilt side to side. I love this piece of back armor as well that comes up. Oh dear. As I said, this is an ultimate build, so it is fragile. I am going to make some modifications, I think, to make this one stronger, but those will be personal ones. We've got a ball joint down in the middle, which is actually held in a fixed position to get the sort of body curve that we're used to for a Lizalfos. And then the rest is purely down to you with the tail. I usually leave mine about like this, which you could argue isn't as curled as it should be. With these click hinges at the end, it becomes a little too square for my liking, which is why I don't keep mine wrapped up like that. And I usually keep this arm across the body to make it look a little less weird as well, make it look like he's grabbing things. And then of course you've got another sort of fixed angle up here with the shell to try and get that Lizalfos curve. Anyway, I just think alternate wheels like this are really impressive. I really like how it turned out. It was instantly recognizable to me, and as my favorite sort of what would you call them even, fodder enemy from Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword actually, I just love Lizalfos. So I really wanted to give this a go. I already really love the Crocodile set. It's a fantastic model with 3 great builds. It actually goes for a little bit on the aftermarket now as well. But I think did a really great job with this one. I'm pleased to be able to display it and I hope you guys enjoyed. After that small round and mop, it was time to embark on my first large project of the summer, which was the Botanical Gardens. You guys may have already seen this video on the channel. This one was so much fun to put together. Expanding upon the Botanical Gardens, there's so many people put it in a city. It's not meant to be in a city, it's meant to be in a park. So I got to use all my spare parts to make all these wonderful flowers, got to do some really great photography, add in that educational aspect and a couple of different trees. I got to stretch my builds while still using seed parts to sort of make things easier, as well as combining both the Friend and the LEGO Ideas Botanical Garden. I even added this sort of warm rock area inspired by Q and a little gazebo as well. I really love this model. I had a lot of fun with it. It's highly underrated on the channel and you can check it out with the end card here. But we're going to move swiftly on. Today I wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys this. A couple of months ago on my channel I posted a video about a digital version of my It's a Small World clock tower, which is designed to be in scale with, well, the whole reason we're making this video, these 2 official Disney park sets, specifically the Haunted Mansion ride and the Magic Kingdom Castle. Obviously there have been other ones since, like Agrabah and Ariel's Place, whatever it's called. And I was mostly interested in this as a park sub-theme, because when we got the first 2 sets, I thought we'd be getting more of our iconic Disney rides in Lego form. Now, I love the It's a Small World clock tower. It has a special place in my heart, in particular for that song, and then also for its presence in the Epic Mickey games. And I always thought this would make a fun little Lego model. So I took a chance and made it into digital form. And then a couple of months later now, it is here in real life, and I wanted to show you guys. So the main gimmick here is the fold out of the sides to give you more of the facade. And that is right, we do have a full micro scale interior. But let's bring this up close and show you all the details that we've got. So down here, we've got the boat boarding section, same black border that you're going to see on the other 2, and what makes this model fit so well into the collection, as this is truly what I think actually makes this unique, is that it really sits well with these other models and actually feels like part of the wave, which is something I'm particularly proud of, because it's not very often I get to do a model that sort of actually feels like it could be a product. Who am I kidding? That's literally all I do on this channel. Okay, so we've got a little recreation of the boats here down below with 2 rows in dark turquoise here, and then a little bit of a front section. And these boats would sort of go along and then go underneath into the arches. But it's just a representation of the waterways, as this is a water ride down below. We've got little bushes here representing the busch gardens that you have up front. This is specifically the California one, because the Magic Kingdom one is indoors in Florida. So the California one, I think, has the more iconic silhouette. We've got some mini arches down below, and then various different tiles down here to recreate some of those iconic Mary Blair patterns. In the center, we have the doors, which on the hour chime, and then the little guards come out of, although those are not replicated here. We're using the shiny golds for rings for the sort of door handles here, and another one up here for another details. And then both of the sides are actually done on these snot assemblies, which are angled and have various different patterns, recreating the ones that we do actually see on the clock tower. Again, much simplified down, trying to be abstract with the Lego designs and capture, again, that Mary Blair aesthetic. As we move up to the top, we've got the middle patternings here, and then 2 custom stickers, one for the numbers on the right, which fits in really nicely, and they were just 2 finer details at this scale to replicate, and then of course the clock tower face being the second one, but we'll come back to him in a second. Down on the sides, we have these 2 sort of side towers here, both of which are detailed with the appropriate golden accents and shapes, making use of some really fun Lego parts here, and then 2 trees down the side. As for the skyline, it goes up from this pearl gold pyramid, and we've got the sort of the support structure down back, but on the top of these 2 snot pillars, we're using some more pieces to recreate sort of the upper shaping, including this newer Monkey Kid Cloud element that actually has these gold bits sticking out at an angle. We've got these sort of two emblem bits here, and then we're using lattice grates in gold underneath to recreate the really fine work that's up there. Similar story on the other side, although it's both unique. And then right at the top, we've got the clock here, which of course can swing side to side. You've got the archways up above, and then tops up in the tower, just like you would expect. And I'm really, really happy with how this goes as a facade. Taking it next to the other two, you can see that it is not in scale at all. The clock tower is nowhere near as tall as the Magic Kingdom castle. I'd argue that potentially these two are probably in scale with each other, which is better because they're actually the rides. But realistically, as far as Disney icons goes, just having three of them next to each other. And I did pick up this Disney castle specifically to complete this collection, as I really wanted the Haunted Mansion. I did want this for a long time, also for that Disney print on the inside, and it was a lot of fun, but I held off buying it and I got it at a discount, so that I could have my lineup here and show them to you guys. But of course we're not done, because they all have interiors. We're not going to look at this one's interior because it is just as simple as there's people walking through and there's a Cinderella slipper and another thing going on the inside. One of the things that I lament is that we do not have a figure for this one. I don't have a good way to do a purist clock tower worker uniform. So for now, let's just spin them all around and see how they look. Now, just like the Haunted Mansion, this one has an interior, although our interior here is at microfigure scale still, and is significantly bigger than the one that appears in the house. But comparing them, you can see that we've got that consistency of the figures and the dolls. While this one is at microfigure scale, obviously these minor figures are representing the dolls that dance around, so we're technically not in scale with the actual real life human ghost projections that appear in the Haunted Mansion one. And this is definitely more of a thin one, whereas this one's a lot more open. As I mentioned, you can hinge open the back to create more of that fun facade on the front, which I think is interesting, because obviously this model is of a ride, it's a bit different, although they are very plain. So personally, I prefer it to be all wrapped up like this. But coming round to the back, we can see we've got two rooms. We've got the Asia section of the boat ride and the African section, including back details that are up here, including the sun. Ooh, unlike in the video, I reckon I can show you the Disney pin that this was based on. Give me a second. Yeah, so the inspiration for the sun on this ride was mostly, of course, the suns that you find in the Asia section, but also this Disney pin, which I remembered from my one trip to Disney. I think this is a Small World one. I can't really be sure. The styling looks the same, but yeah, that was my inspiration for this. I mentioned in the previous video, but I couldn't show you the pin because I didn't know where it was, but I found it. Yeah, so also in here on the Asia section, we've got the sun. There's a little one of the figures dancing, and you can do these in any color. And we've got the little temple down here with a little thing, and of course there's path for the boat to go through, and then that drags you through into the Asia section, or the Africa section, I should say. We've got the Mario leaves and a bit of ferns up below, because these look just perfect for the ones you see on the ride. Some bushes, some people dancing, and another big one for the boat to go under. And then of course the little tiny hippopotamus with its little snout there, some ears and so on. Very cute, very small, but yeah, love how the interior turned out. And even though it's different scale and very wacky, I think it makes this stand out more as a model that maybe isn't an official Lego model, rather than, say, when you turn it around to the front, no, trees. Whereas when you turn it around to the front, and it definitely fits in with this collection. Anyway, to make it clear, the instructions for this are over on Rebrickable. Unfortunately, they are paid instructions, but if you follow the link in the description, you too can add this to your lineup if you go and get the parts. I just wanted to show this off. I know it's a very short video, but here is my Small World next to the other two, and I'm really pleased with how these look as a collection. I look forward to having these on my shelf for a long time to come. Hopefully on your screens are flashing some images I took around with them in a lifestyle setting. This has been a joy to do as a model, and I hope you guys like it. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember, it is a small, 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 small world. I couldn't stop myself, and the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit made its way into my collection for 50% off, no less. Of course, I really love the set, but one of the bigger additions for me was the Link hairpiece here. I wanted to try this out for a Skyward Sword Link for a long time, and it doesn't quite work as well as I thought it might. Obviously, no ears is a big bit. It does work well for the bed head he would have at the beginning of the game, but here it just looks wrong, especially considering he's not got his green hat on this version of the figure. I still think this hair has a lot of potential, and also I really like the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit set. Shame about that original price, but for 50% off here in the UK, I will not be saying no. So I was really glad to add that to my collection. Hopefully one day I can do the same for Jabba's Sail Barge, the UCS version. And then because I was in Link mood, I decided to do a Lego Zelda book nook, except for it's not for books, it's a store between games. I'm not going to tell you too much about this one because I have another video coming on this one later down the line, but let's say it didn't work out as well as I hoped. I then got building my retro collection because it's been 9 years since I last inventoried them and I needed to work out what was still missing. Today I have a lot of Lego in front of me, and that is my retro Lego collection. This is specifically everything from before the year, well, up to and including the year 2003. And a lot of this I was able to inherit through the family, except for the large pieces you'll see alongside the back, such as the Paradisa, the Aquanauts, and the Enchanted Island and the Maureen Expedition stuff over here, and a couple of other later bits from 2001s. But all of this late 60s, early 70s stuff, specifically the Classic Space, Retro Technic, and Fabuland down here, all came through the family line. And it's been my mission over the last 9 years now that I've had these models in my possession to fix them up, as lots of them were missing parts or had certain damages, and you'll still see a lot of those quirks over here. Let's see if I can find one real quick in the form of some of our space figures here. Is it you? No, you've got a decent face. See, I've done a pretty good job at repairing them, but like this guy here has got no face left on him. And there were various things like that. And I have an image of what this looked like when I first started piecing these sets together, because when I first acquired them, they were sort of just in big tubs and all mixed up, and no one could tell what's going on because they'd been loved and well played with. And I effectively started off by just piecing together what I could, came back a second time, and that's where I did a lot more of the smaller vehicles and so on when I got a little bit more educated in how this works. And it's come such a long way from that, such as just individual parts, like learning to use Bricklink was what I did when trying to fix out and find this missing window, because I absolutely love the robot base command here with its removable vehicles and so on. Because if I pull this to the side, I can pull out this little jet speeder and so on. Such a cool set, but I wanted to have it in proper condition. And then through the years, I found more and more, replaced more pieces, noticed there's a couple of missing. And here, 9 years on, the goal was to see it all together, and wow, is it a lot, but also to ascertain what was still missing and update the Bricklink list, because over 9 years, you can imagine that things get a little bit out of hand, and maybe certain aspects that I thought I knew have changed. And now I'm lucky to report that a lot of it is down to very minor things, such as replacement stickers, which I'll be lucky if I ever find, or tools, or random 2x4s in the case of that space launcher over there as well. But yeah, I thought this was an opportunity to showcase what I have, and also just talk about vintage Lego, because I think there's a lot of stuff that's cool here. That project led to a lot of really fun, awesome combinations, such as being able to put this old Vespa next to the new one, and other bits, including the new Ideas prize machine figures like the Paradisa ones. And it also led to some other fun but cursed creations, introducing the Tigura Underwater Explorer. Just don't ask questions, don't bother. I then got building these book nooks here. You can see I put the Balrog book nook into the shelf, added some lights beneath using a tablet, which I thought was a fun fire effect. Also upgraded the whip, which you can see here. And then following that, I also did 2 alt builds of this. One using the Durin's Tomb idea to recreate another scene from Moria, and then the cave troll escape scene as well, where you can see them all fighting, and I love the goblins on the ceiling. Again, full videos for these on the channel. As some of you might know, Drybones is my favourite Mario character, so I couldn't help when I saw the Big Koopa from Big Bad Island give him a little bit of an upscale to match. So I'm introducing my Mega Mushroom Drybones, as we're calling him, who is basically a colour palette swap of Big Koopa from the official Big Bad Island set. One custom decal on the eye and some modifications to the nose as well as the shell, because it's really hard to get this part. However, I will eventually change it over. And we have a basically identical Drybones version of Big Koopa, which I absolutely love as a Drybones main in Mario Kart, and just general lover of this figure in particular, which comes from the 2020 Bowser's Castle, and then there's a variant with his eyes pointing sideways in the 2024 Boo's Haunted Mansion set. But I really want to show this off today because I finally got to compare the two side to side, and I'm now happy with how this one looks, even if the eyes aren't perfect. He's retained all the same articulations, such as being able to rotate his head, just like this one can, not very far, but far enough. Can alter the arms up and down, the same as this Koopa. And then the one big difference is on the feet, whereas this one had the shoes. Unfortunately, Drybones parts don't currently exist in Light Aqua, so I've basically done this assembly to make it look like one foot is stepped more forward than the other. We've got the tan and dark bluish grey for the rib cage, which is basically a scaled up version of this. And then the mouth is really the only difference and potentially the weakest part of the model. It keeps that same shape but goes for an open mouth design so that I can have some of those teeth and make him look his cute but menacing style that we know Drybones for. As far as pretty much the only custom Mario design I've ever really done fully, we've done clown cars and other stuff in the past, and I really love how he turned out. We've got a shell on the back done in dark bluish grey, and yeah, it's a really simple model, but I really like how it turned out, and it's a great addition to the Dry family, as you can see with these photos I took the other day. So I hope you enjoyed a quick look at this tiny mock. I love Drybones. Isn't he just the sweetest? Ah, so good. But shortly after this, my Siege encampment arrived from Bricklink Designer Program Series 4, and I was very excited to put it to use. I made a trip to the LEGO store, picked up some extra Lion Knights, as well as the Z-Blob pieces, which I have a very special plan for, and of course the light blue Spaceman as well. And then it was time to set up my Fire Army. This is my custom faction. Again, there is a video linked in the top screen. We've already talked about these guys, and these were going to be my figures that I would set up in a siege. We've got some sort of Soulfire Pyromancers here, and then a various sort of fast but quickly light troops. And then opposing them, we have the Lion Knights here who are going to be defending alongside my Black Falcons and other various castle factions. You can see those Kraken Knights at the back. But it wasn't long before I set up a really fun siege film. Again, sort of it's taking my inner child and letting it do whatever, but we've got this fast moving and very destructive fire faction coming in here using all the siege equipment. They're not heavily armored, they're just more about sort of rushing, sort of fast war tactics, and they are sieging down on the Lion Knights here. I had some help setting up this layout. It was a lot of fun to do. You can see the Lion Knights are struggling a bit, even with the defense of the Dragonborn Paladins, but I just love this. This brought two sets that I think are both fantastic, the only BDP set that I think feels like a real LEGO set, and just made a really fun scene. And then I did the same with Space. So we got my Classic Space and Blacktron and my Ice Planet Army, which expanded this summer, if you guys weren't aware, another video linked up top. And we were able to make a quick little space layout or base between all of them, including every retro space set that I have, including the remake Galaxy Explorer and Renegade and Blacktron Cruiser as well. This was another fun one to do, completely different from the Siege. Didn't like it as much in the end, but seeing all the coloured spacemen together, not on the Every Spaceman is Awesome, was also a lot of fun, and I've wanted to have the new and old Galaxy Explorer and Renegade together for so long now. Then, funny story, I saw this flower pot on the sort of LEGO marketing page for a foreign country a while ago, and I wanted to get my hands on it because I thought it was a really cute piece of LEGO lifestyle, and I thought would fit the LEGO flowers particularly well. So, much to my surprise, when I walked into a department store here in the UK, and they were offering them as a gift with purchase if you spent 50 on botanicals. Now, I love the botanicals, but I have most of the ones I want, and I certainly wasn't prepared to drop 50. So I decided to ask the cashier, hello, could I buy one? And they said, let me go check. She went off to go and have a look, and then she came back and just gave me one. So I completely lucked out. I got one of these for free. I offered to pay money for it, but she said, no, just take it. So I now have one of these vases here. You can see next to the plum blossom. Now, it doesn't work great for the LEGO flowers because a lot of LEGO flowers have really tall stems. However, the newer generations, which are made up with more of those sort of Technic connectors rather than the axle rods, actually do work a little bit better. And I'm very curious to try and use this either on my own botanicals or on the official botanical setup as well, as I do really like it as a lifestyle item. Just a shame it wasn't quite as useful as I thought, but it is super, super cute. And I can't believe I got it for free. So I had to tell that story here today. Now, of course, it was around this time that I started working on a certain egg and a certain mountain. And if you guys have watched the channel, you know that my biggest build from the summer was, of course, Koholint Island from Link's Awakening, which we added some motion into using all the Mario enemies. The conceit here was we don't have many official LEGO Zelda figures, but we do have plenty of LEGO Mario figures, and LEGO Mario figures appear in Link's Awakening in the game. So it was really fun to bring this to life, especially for Bracknell National Brick event. It was just one of those things that worked out time and place. I could not have brought it to another event purely just because it's too big to do. And it just came together together. It was a really wonderful experience, and it was a real challenge for me to design like this. I'm still sorting the parts out from it now, but it was completely worth it, and it was truly a delight to put together. A real challenge as well, and I think it looks great. The extra motion helps to bring it to life, and that egg, oh, it fell over 2 times. Again, recommend watching that video just to see the clip of when it fell down the back, but it was something, that's for sure. But really proud of that build, and a really great addition to my summer lineup, that's for sure. And then I got onto Bulborbs. This is a build I've had sat on my computer for a long time to build into real life. The small one you've seen before, but the big one is brand new. I may do a follow-up video on this because it was largely done around the conceit of using the Piranha plant from Lego Mario's big curved red element, because they are perfect for Bulborb spots and they are the perfect printed elements. So a bit like what happened with the small one when the mini Mickey and Minnie set came out, because those spots were perfect for a smaller Bulborb. Anyway, this is a model that has been designed heavily around that. I had a lot of fun photographing it, and you will see this again on the channel soon. I really do think it works. It's about as good as you can get for a Bulborb, and I do love me some Pikmin. I even love this nighttime shot of him eating the blue Pikmin. It's all red in that as well. So this was a delightful addition. I'd love to have this permanently in some point in the future. Then I got onto something even crazier. I built every single one of my Mario sets. You're seeing me set them all up now. Everything from the Bowser stuff to the Poison Swamp to the desert. It took days to build them all the D2Cs, all the bits in between. I don't have all of them, but I have a really large collection of the Lego Mario stuff, most of which have been bought on sale or on eBay aftermarket, just for the characters and play features I like. And this team is so successful. This will be its own video at some point. Here are all the characters from across my sets that I own. I only own about 57% of them all, so you can imagine what it'd be like if I had them all. But I also have the opportunity to build the 2 Bowser Castles together. This is something I wanted to do ever since I saw Dry Bowser Castle get revealed, and that is because I thought that it worked perfectly as an entranceway for the bigger Bowser Castle. So I think I've proven that here. I do need to sort of expand it outwards just a bit, like sort of raise up the back sections. I think on some lava would make this work a lot better, but I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I think it's a great addition to a lineup. I then got completely distracted. You saw that flower bouquet over in the previous picture. I got to put all of my Lego flowers together in this new vase that I brought. I didn't try them in the Lego vase, but I do think this looks simply wonderful. It's so bright and colourful. I really, really love how this looks, and it's a lot of fun to do flower arranging, if a little frustrating at times because of the plastic nature of Lego flowers. But I look forward to refining this skill from just messy colour in the future. I just want to also highlight my favourite Lego related video I watched of this summer from Slugger, who was looking into Blacktron 1.5. Now you guys know I'm a Blacktron 1 fan, but also a Blacktron 2 hater, or opponent you might say, purely because I think the colour scheme is ridiculous and they look like cosplayers with that giant bee on their chest. Now apparently there was an interview with an old designer in regards to sort of development of Blacktron 2, and they said that Blacktron 1 was almost too edgy. So it was really delightful to be made aware by Slugger that Blacktron 2 nearly had a rainbow stripe color scheme, and I cannot believe that we were robbed of Spectron. You cannot tell me that the less edgy version of Blacktron 1 being Blacktron 2 with rainbows is not the funniest thing I've heard all the time. Highly recommend you check out that video. It was truly a fantastic discovery, especially for such a Blacktron 1 fan as myself, and I'm really, really pleased to have learnt this information. I cannot believe we were nearly robbed of Rainbow Troopers. Would have been so good. I then got into a little bit of photography with some brand new sets, specifically the Lighthouse from Lego Ideas. I got to take some nighttime shots, got to play around. I'm not very good with the camera, but I had fun with it all the same, and I think they turned out really, really well. And then I picked up the Creator 3-in-1 Unicorn Castle, which was a delightful build, really fun. We have our 3 unicorns, which are named Shortcake, Meringue, and then the white unicorn is called Cornetto Cream Puff, which is just silly names. They are named after lemon meringue pie and strawberry shortcake, but don't have the strawberry and the lemon meringue in their names. Then did just a little bit of artwork, non-Zelda related, but I enjoy drawing figures whenever I can, was inspired, and then picked up the Maleficent Dragon, which is an amazing part of the build. Not so keen on that castle, but it's still a great dragon. And then I rebuilt my Deku Tree, adding in my Korok Easter egg here. I'll be completely honest, I totally bought the Goomba tree for the Goombas. 50% off on Amazon on separate occasions, and I've ended up with 2 copies and a whole load of tree parts that I don't really have a use for. Could I have sold the tree? Yes, probably for nothing. Should I really just part out the tree, considering how blocky and square it is? Also probably true. However, I thought I'd give it a go just on a whimsical 30-minute kind of afternoon to see if I could combine the trees together to make anything that looked somewhat decent. And yeah, didn't try very hard, did I? But like, yeah, that is a tree that is twice as tall. Still got the seesaw, used some of the extra log prints, the mushrooms, and then of course added the Goombas all around. 6 Goombas actually makes this feel a lot better. Would I pay 20 for this? I mean, I'd probably complain about it, but yeah, I'd pay 18. on sale. Obviously, I'd go down even lower. The tree is not quite double height, meaning it cannot store all 6 Goombas and launch all of them. It can launch about 5, although it is basically a machine gun launching setup. So while I'm talking, I suppose I can stack all of these and actually show you. But yeah, I changed up the tree colors so that the bigger, darker green ones are on the top. But effectively, I did stick this segment on here a second time. Probably should have rotated it so that that was hidden, and then had to just use some of the square bricks from lower down so that there wasn't a sort of second archway halfway up the tree. Probably if I started from scratch, I could actually make this tree even taller, maybe by a couple of bricks, using some of these lower curves, as there are quite a few parts left over. But this was supposed to just be a quick sort of idea and see if I could use the parts. Most likely I will part out this set, although no promises on that, because this is quite fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they came out together, and 6. Casual 6 Goomba launching out of the tree. Yeah, considering I paid half price for both of them, meaning that I got 2 for the price of 1 on 2 separate occasions, and we're talking like £6 twice. And I now have 6 Goombas, which I'm always looking for because they kind of are ridiculous on Bricklink because they go for like £2.50 or more. I consider this a great deal to army build and give me some useful parts. Who knows? Who knows? But I like it. It's cool. What an interesting remock to do in my summer. After that brief tangent, I wanted to get all of my Star Wars minifigures together, specifically all 100 and something of them, because I didn't believe that I actually had that many. So you can see 2 base plates, one for the light side of the Force and some neutrals, and then one for the dark side. You can tell I maybe have a bit of an Empire bias, specifically Hoth. The Hoth section is crazy. I didn't realize I had this many. Most of my aliens come from the Cantina set, and I just think that modern Star Wars minifigure design is so clean. I love that Snow Scout Trooper. I love the new Probe Droid. The Sith Troopers always look cool to me. The Sand Troopers, the new Stormtroopers, fantastic. But specifically stuff like Inferno Squad with that black and red. The Boba looks great. The TIE Pilots, Guridian, they're just fantastic. I love collecting Star Wars minifigures I actually like and sets I actually enjoy. So this was a fun process for me just to see them all together because I don't get to army build very often. I've done 3 this summer, admittedly, but that is besides the point. Even those clones, I love the modern clone design. They just look great. Here are heroes at the front here with Obi-Wan and C-3PO, a couple of different Lukes, Hands. Captain Antilles in behind with a Rebel Fleet Trooper army, largely thanks to that 2009 battle pack. A couple of sequel troopers. There's those clones again. Oh, looks so clean. And then the Hoth Rebel side of things as well, which is much, much smaller than the Empire side. But I do really like this figure collection. I'm glad I was able to bring it together. A couple of gonks, love a gonk, and then some random assortment of characters. I love the random aliens. We got so many wonderful, unique molds, and these are some of my favorites. Got 9 of them in there from the Sail Barge, which is another reason I really wanted that skiff, and then Ponda Baba, Nute Gunray, and then some sequels and battles. Yeah, cool one to do it together, mostly for me, but I had fun with it. And I did also grab these spaceships as well, specifically these 4. Obviously I have plenty more, but these 4 because they all felt in the same class. Got that TIE Fighter after Andor Season 1, just made me love the TIE Fighter, something I previously hated. I took the time at the end of the summer to update the brick to scale, which is my measure of Lego controversy. This is done, tried to be as unbiased as possible, largely by sort of the scale of the disturbance or genuinity of it. Obviously 10 is reserved for a cancel set. This is a logarithmic scale, so each level is 10 times worse. I added the Death Star to level 9, where the Deku Tree price outrage is. And the reason these are so high when other things aren't is because these have transcended the Lego community and gone widespread. Just complete vitriol, large center. I actually think the Death Star looks great. I think it's fantastic set. Obviously the issues with it, but I really quite like it. And you can see a variety of different Lego controversies over the years here and how I've ranked them compared to each other and compared to their spread and severity and seriousness. But yeah, this is an interesting one to do. I don't update this very often. I haven't talked about it on the channel, so wanted to share it here. And then I started construction on something very, very exciting. But then I immediately got distracted and started comparing the Lego Ideas Treehouse to the Deku Tree, because I think they're really interesting sets to compare to each other because they are both large-scale trees done within a 5-year sort of time gap, which means techniques have changed a lot here. And yeah, I found myself rather unconvinced about the differences between them. I'll post a short video about that soon, I think, but we'll save that for another day. But it was cool to see these two next to each other regardless. Then I added all my Animal Crossing minifigures to my minifigure display frames in readiness to film a video on the minifigure display frames. I really like how these guys look. They are like Fabuland, but they're just so bright and colourful. They deserve a shelf while I can do it. And then I got working on another project which involved vinyl and sticker elements for the next batch of LEGO Zelda stuff. You can see this vinyl Korok leaf here held by Link, sort of blowing a Lizalfos away. This was something I tried back in Take Back the Sea, and I really liked the concept, so I tried it out for real life here. It's a little translucent than I'd like, but it works perfectly well. And here is the sticker sheet for the other models that are coming. You are going to see a video on these guys very soon. And then to finish off, we have the Castle Gatehouse, which was my final big build of the summer. I actually did it. I turned a part of the large minifigure scale Breath of the Wild Hyrule Castle into real life. You can see it here with working doors, only missing the crest, all of those beautiful architectural details. I'm not going to go too far into it purely because it has its own video coming really, really soon, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I go backwards and forwards, I'm tortured creative and all. I love the pattern inside the door. I love the doors. We've got Ganondorf coming through here, which doesn't make any sense. This is the only section that's going to be built IRL right now, just because the castle is huge, but I wanted to test it, and I think this is a resounding success for a test like this. It works. It's coming, and that is actually going to do it for everything that I've done in my LEGO summer. I'm now preparing for my next convention in October, as well as getting the Sanctum ready to build in real life. I had a blast doing all these stuff for me mostly, and I hope you guys appreciate and enjoyed what I had to show for it. So let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys again next week for another video, probably back to our usual content. But I had to share this, you know, there's no point in doing it unless it's for me. So this is what I did. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.